King and I Life podcast. Hit that intro.
Take off my Jordan number 3s and place them back in the shoebox. Granny yelling after me, telling me to come to eat fish and grits, my favorite dish. Good. She asked me where I been, I told her on the block. On the block, I told her on the block. She asked me where I been, and I told her on the block. On the block, I told her on the block. I told her on the block. Life ain't always bad on the block. Me and the homies used to slap box, drink beer.
Yo, mic check out there. Welcome back to the King and I Life podcast, hosted by your duo, So Touch of the Poet, and my man, Son Soul Lex. Waiting for him to jump in here real quick. Boy, like I said, we're going to bring this to you weekly, life willing, and life is willing. Hope everybody out there is doing well. Of course, if you want to join the conversation, shoot a text with your name to the number below 347-778-1082. If you would like to donate to the show, just the cash app below. So, hey, we're trying to build it up. What else we got here? Topic suggestions, feedback, all that stuff. Hit us up, KingAndEye369@gmail.com. And last but not least, hit that website, www.KingAndEyeLife.com. It's been a busy couple of weeks. Let me see. I had my colonoscopy done last week. It wasn't too bad. I tried to snatch a damn hospital blanket, but Shorty was like, yeah, put that back. Other than that, ain't too much popping on. Hope everybody is doing well. If you out there in the comments, give us a shout out. Let us know where you're calling in from or tuning in from. We got some things coming up. Aunt Cynthia is going to be joining us back to further talk about her life with cancer, surviving cancer. She starts chemo soon, but her podcast is up and running, Motivation, Determination. So go look for that on them podcast platforms out there. Definitely tune into that. We got some more stuff coming up with her. What else we got? Apple subscription, subscribe to that. Let's get that going. What's up? I see you checking in from Indy. How are you today? Hit us up on whatever podcast platforms that you subscribe to. Check us out on all social medias. The live is being broadcasted on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. So hopefully that Facebook feed is working, because that joint was tripping the last few weeks. Hopefully I got that straightened out. Looks to be going live. But other than that, what else we got? We are definitely looking for a female to join us on some of these podcasts, because some of these topics, like the one that we have tonight, definitely need some female input. So yes, we need a female to join us on some of these topics. So if you like to join us, or you know someone that would like to join us, please let us know. We could definitely need the input, because we can't tell it all from a man's point of view. But we got a pretty decent topic tonight. We're going to be talking about divorce. Is it not a sin or taboo? Almost 50% of all marriages in the United States will end in divorce or separation. Researchers estimate that 41% of all first marriages end in divorce, 60% of second marriages, and 73% of all third marriages. Well, I'll throw myself in all three of those categories, since I've done it 3 times, marriage and divorce. Hey, I say, how many people have you dated in your lifetime that you broke up with? Don't judge me. I'm just saying. But other than that, that's what it is. Again, If you would like to join this conversation, not that one. Here we go. Like to join the conversation, text your name to 347-778-1082, and we will bring you into the conversation. Or if you would like to join us live, let me know. I will shoot you the link. But let's jump into it. Oh, another other news. Tomorrow, I don't know how many of y'all follow Pod Sound School on social media, but tomorrow I will be doing an interview with them about podcasting to um, it's about podcasting, but I'm gonna be representing the King and I Life podcast because the time slots they had only fit with my schedule. And there we have Sun Soul X in the house. What's up, my brother?
Yes, yes. What's up, everybody?
Yes, I was just rambling, man. I was just rambling for a hot
Oh,
minute, you know.
sorry, man.
So good. Like I told him, hey, life willing, we gonna be here.
Yes, sir.
I gave everybody, a little preliminary information. You got anything else you want to share with the people?
Nothing other than, of course, you guys can reach out to us at KingAndEye 369 at gmail.com. Again, that's KingAndI 369 at gmail.com.
Hey, I threw out the bat signal that we looking for some female voices on here. So hopefully somebody answer the bat call because we can't speak from a woman's point of view.
No, not at all.
We can only speak from our experiences from the women we know.
That's it.
And sometimes that ain't good enough because we need women to we need job positions out here. What is that? What does that mean? What does that mean today? Please tell me what that means today. Damn it. We need to know what that means today. We don't need no we need some answers out here in these streets. What does that mean today? So I already told them the topic was divorce is either sin or taboo. I read the little intro.
Okay.
So before we jump into the topic, do you think divorce is a sin or taboo?
Hell no.
I mean,
nope, not at all. I think that things happen, people change, situations change.
Of course.
And the funny part about it is marriage was around before the Bible.
All right.
Think about that. But anyway, no, I don't think it's a sin at all. Like I said, time goes on. People sometimes grow in different directions. Again, life was always throwing you curveballs and sidewinders, as they say. So it's kind of like you got to make the necessary adjustments, and that don't always mean that the person you're married to is supposed to continue that journey with you.
That is true. Like I said, I've done it 3 times, marriage and divorce. So I don't think it's a damn sin or taboo. Clearly. All right, so let's jump into it. Let's get it rolling because we got a lot of ground to cover. We're gonna try to cover as much as we can.
For sure.
So the first question: how has the topic of divorce changed since our parents and grandparents' time?
Ooh. I don't know. I just think that the marriages back then, they pretty much were in it to the end of it, meaning to death truly do us part. I think their will to make their marriages work were stronger, in a sense, to the relationships and the marriages that are on the scene nowadays.
Plus, they didn't have social media, so
no, they didn't. No, they didn't.
But we're gonna get into that later.
For sure.
I'm not actually completely qualified to speak on what happened then because I'm not a product of um, long-term marriages. Well, not very many. Um, Travaya says they took their vows seriously. I would agree. Back
Yeah,
then, more people took their vows more seriously.
definitely.
Um, I think more now people are playing married as opposed to being married. Um, so and I'll also say back then, from what I've heard from people,
Hmm.
you know, the less you put your business out on the street, the longer your marriage is going to last. So I think that that's a big factor in that. So when
Oh,
people,
definitely, definitely.
you know, and it doesn't matter who you're telling. Like you tell somebody, you tell sometimes if you tell one person, you told one person too goddamn many. And you know how Miss Pearl was, and Hattie Mae, and and Miss Alice, and Clara Bell from around the corner. Yeah,
Uh-huh. If you told that one person, you pretty much told everybody at the same time because
yeah,
they damn sure gonna put it out there in the streets.
all the way out there in the streets. They gonna be in the streets like them damn lions. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but were there the marriages issue considered taboo back then?
I would say yeah.
Wait a
and
minute,
and
hold on one
I
second.
say that because um there wasn't a lot talked about. You know, like if there was domestic violence in the house, it was swept under the rug. If the man of the house was going away with his mistress, or he's out working, or something like that. And I think if you had marital problems, everybody was. I mean, people are judgmental now, but I
Right.
think it was a different type of judgmental back then, to where it was like you didn't want to be embarrassed. Um, I mean, and plus you got to look at the fact that is a lot of times back in the day, people, men, not with people, men had whole families elsewhere, and half the time you didn't find out till the damn child was damn near grown or he passed away. So I mean, you got to factor that in there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because Papa was Rolling Stone, as they say.
Yeah,
they, I'm not sure if women just were more willing to um, consider the fact that men did such things back in the day. Um, I'm sure it wasn't something that they were proud of, but it was something that maybe was a little bit more accepted. And again, I'm just speculating here,
right. Um, and
but
and yeah, and this is one of those points where we would need a woman's perspective
yeah,
to fill
yeah,
in the gaps that we can't fill in.
right.
Um, yeah. And as far as, so, what do you think they did differently, other than not open a damn mouth too much?
um, I think it was one of those things of they had a courtship, and that courtship, may have lasted a few days, and it may have lasted a few weeks, it may have lasted a few months. But I think men back then had more trust in the relationship situation, meaning they knew the women back then weren't the type that ran around and gave them those kind of headaches. They were more family oriented, and I think that played a major factor in how relationships played out because men and women back then were willing to play their part, meaning men were more innate to go to work, pay the bills, make sure that the household was taken care of before anything else was taken care of. And the women, they put the household first as well, meaning they made sure that the kids were taken care of. They made sure that the bills were paid. They made sure that the man's lunch was made for work the next day and his clothes were ironed, things along that line. Everybody played their role.
Oh Lord, boy, we need some female input on that one because I know on a couple of those points you might get a little pushback.
Maybe, but just talking about, things back then. Um, and again, nothing wrong with wanting to be a housewife or, a homemaker, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
I think nowadays women have it a little bit more um, tougher, if I can say that. And that's simply because, nowadays they want to have their own careers. They want to have their own businesses. They want to have, a life outside of the home while
Mm-hmm.
still, trying to maintain a nice life at home, meaning, have the husband, have the kids and everything in between. So it's kind of like they're juggling more than women back then, if I can say that without offending
um, I'm going to say yes and no. Um, they had a lot to juggle back then. I mean, if you think about it, uh, and I'm just stepping out on a limb here.
it. All right.
If you think about it, women had to like really maintain the house. And that husband back then was probably gone away for work more often than these days. And especially if he was gone away for a few days for work with
All right.
anime from down the street, and she had to deal with that stress. Um Whereas today, sometimes women will have that situation. They'd be like, well, as long as the bill's paid. Um, but I did want to touch on something before we got too far down the line.
All right. Go ahead.
You were talking about courtship lasting a day, a week, a month, or years, or whatever the case may be. There seems to be this thing out there in the universe where people say, oh, well, you didn't know such and such long enough. You know, you never know somebody long enough. You just never do. And I think, and we'll get into this in the next talking point a little bit more, but it doesn't matter if you've known someone 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 2 decades. It doesn't matter. People change, or their natural them comes out, and you just never know. Because there's been people who've been together for like 5, 10 years, and you look at them like, why the hell ain't they married? Oh, we're just fine. Then they get married, and probably like a year or so later they get divorced. So sometimes it
Yeah.
don't matter.
It's crazy how that works. Again, I think, like one of our parents was saying, that they took their vows a hell of a lot more seriously than we tend to do nowadays for some reason. And I think, again, it did back then. It didn't take, a whole hell of a lot of time to say, yeah, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. It's kind of like, that you don't know everything about them, but you know enough to know that this is the person you want to make that type of commitment with. I
Yeah.
think nowadays we're more cautious before we go into that whole, I want to
Mm.
devote my whole life to this person.
You
So
ain't lying. You ain't lying. Hmm. Boy, you ain't lying. Um, Poetic Justice. I don't know if that was a high five or you was raising your hand, but let us know. So, do you think it was easy to get divorced back then?
hell yeah,
Really?
hell yeah.
Why you say that?
Back back then when you went
Oh,
to
you know what? I agree. I agree. I
when
had
you
to
went to,
process that for like 5 seconds.
so when you went to court, man, it was like over and done with. Um, it wasn't so much about assets back then as it is now. Um, Nowadays, shoot, divorce, it can take anywhere from a few months to damn near a couple of years, depending on how much assets the couple has.
It ain't gotta
Um,
be assets. It could be how ignorant people are.
True, that is true. Because nowadays, people, I just think that they've come to a place where it's not so much about getting it done and over with. It's about what can I get out of this situation that's going to propel me into the next part of my life.
Pretty
And
much.
back then, they were just like, I just want the hell out of this. So
Mm-hmm.
it was more cut and dry, I think.
Poetic Justice, you got your hand up. What's up? What you got to say? What you got for us? What you
Please
got for us? What you got for us?
enlighten us.
Please, please give us your tutelage, please, ma'am. Before we move on to the next point. But yeah, I had to think about it real quick because back in the day, a joker could just like up and disappear, and it'd be like,
Yes.
I think, and I think that's part of the reason why divorce is so hard these days now, because a joker would up and be ghost, and that was it, you know. But yeah, I think that's it. But poetic justice, when you ready to drop your gem jewels or whatever you want to call them, we'll come back to it. All right, so let's talk about cultural influences on divorce. Um, and it's not so much just American culture. It's, you know, or whatever culture. It's the culture within the culture.
Right.
Because over in other countries, they got their traditions and this, that, and the other. And a lot of places would like to adopt the Western culture that we have here. Um, so let's jump into it, man.
um, oh, that's a hard one right there. Kind of a hard one. Because I can't really speak on other cultures without really being in there like that. But from what I've seen, the process is pretty much the same. Meaning, when they are ready to go their separate ways, they make the necessary arrangements. In some countries, they just prolong that whole process. Here, you can get it done in a few months, a couple of weeks, and worst case scenario, a couple of years. But some
God
other
damn.
countries I've been in, you looking at about 5 or more, if you're lucky.
To get a divorce?
Yeah,
5 years?
yeah. The system, the way that system is set up,
Where
it
they do
takes
that
about
at?
that
Make sure I
damn
don't go
long.
there.
All right, I'm gonna look that up and get you an answer on that one.
Oh God. Oh
But
God.
yeah,
Damn it, man.
yeah.
Whew. I'd be done.
Okay.
Oh, so do arranged marriages have lower odds or chances of divorce because of social stigma?
That one again, I can't speak on.
I would say they have lower odds or chances of divorce because of social status more than social stigma. I mean, if you look at it, let's just
Mhm.
let's just let's just look at Coming to America, the first one.
All right.
How his first wife was groomed to be his queen. That type of arranged marriage. And like from knee high to a hockey puck to a grown woman, she was groomed to be his queen. Um, and that's how his parents got together. That was an arranged marriage, and they were together for ever.
All right.
Um, so I would venture to say that it's least likely for them to get a divorce because of that type of thing, as opposed to how we do it over here. It's like I choose you, you choose me. We gonna go do it. you know, we've gotten away from a lot of the traditions, whereas it's like you get the whole families involved. You know, he goes to the father, asks the father, and you know the families mix and mingle and meet and whatever case. All that type of courtship is pretty much gone these days in a lot of situations. So I would say arranged marriages tend to last longer.
When you put it in that context, I have to agree with that. Um, just because in a situation like that, how many females you know gonna leave a goddamn king? I'm just saying.
I mean, I
I'm
mean,
just saying.
if you watch Game of Thrones, she ain't leaving them; she having them killed. So yeah, that's how that go. Um, uh, yeah, that's how that go.
So are these marriages business arrangements, you think?
Some of them are. I mean, you have to look at it. Um, you got two families of influence, and they're doing what they do to increase their influence. Um, so to that degree, that would be a reason why um, those last, and that would probably lend to divorce being taboo. Not a sin, but taboo, because it's like it's a big embarrassment, and you don't want your family embarrassed because of that, whatever the case may be. And in some of those situations, those men or those women,
Mm-hmm.
they had their little secret lover hidden somewhere, and that was normal in those societies.
All right. I think the thing is about it back then, it was more about increasing one's wealth,
Yeah.
meaning family wealth. So it was more about when you picked or when they picked someone for you, it wasn't so much about that person. It was
Hmm.
about that person and that person's family.
Right.
Like what are they what are the wealth that's coming through or coming with, that union.
Right.
So I think that was a big part of it.
Good evening, Patrice. Good evening. Thank
Good
you for
evening.
joining us. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. Um Now, bride's parents providing a dowry to marry their daughter. That was acceptable. Um, it's crazy that does that even still happen? Like really, really happen like it used to?
In other countries, I think, or maybe in the blue blood society.
You said blue blood society. Okay, then blue blood society.
Yeah, man.
Mm, 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 mm. Wow, I
I'd
don't know.
be I'd be curious to know what would all go in a diary nowadays, though. I mean, things
Now,
have changed. It's more than horses and goddamn camels. I think.
oh my goodness. I would I would be curious to know what goes into it either, because it's like, what can you give somebody now? You know, a lot of the land is that they used to have is gone. Um, you know, I damn sure don't want no damn cow that's as skinny as a goddamn rail. So don't give me a cow. Um, yeah, I don't know what someone could. I don't know. Give me a pail of water. Like, help me understand here.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good question. I'll have to look that one up later.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So, should divorce should be not be taboo if the arrangements are dissolved?
That's an interesting one right there. Um, because it's like, what would the arrangement be that they were, dissolved or whatever the case may be? Like, um, I just don't know. A man with a job, house, and car. That be part of would that be part of the dowry?
Oh no, but that's funny. It may be. It may be. Good point,
Mm,
fellas.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know as far as the arrangement being dissolved. Um, that would definitely have to be one of those situations to where it had to be like, oh my god, that would have to be something wild, like
I mean,
to I see. Okay, so in these days, I don't see it coming down to um like it used to be, because like back in the day, it's like the arrangement is we marry our children, we build the empire, I take over this country or land or whatever the case may be, and you take this and you take that, and we split it down the middle, and then our children can get divorced, and we dap it up and I holler at you later.
but the thing about it is, in a situation like that, like, so let's say they resolve the marriage. Do that mean you get to get your stuff back?
But it would depend on what it is, because outside okay, so if we bring that into today's time,
Right.
let's bring it into today's time. Let's just say I own Apple, and homie over here owns Microsoft, and I have a daughter, and I'm grooming my daughter to be venomous. And my thing is, look, you're my daughter, I love you, but what I need you to do, I need you to melt this Joker's son's heart like butter on popcorn, and you get your name on this, that, and the other, and you get this, that, and the other, and after 5 or so years, I want you to make it seem like he's the worst joke on the planet, and you have to leave, and you mentally distressed, so that we can take, we get a sizable chunk of their empire.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just
I'm,
okay.
I'm I'm just gonna go with that because
Man,
that's how it was done. All BS aside, that's definitely how it was done.
but that's dangerous because people's cutthroat these days more than they used to be. So, yeah, can't play them games with people like these days.
No. Well, I don't know now. I don't know because there's been quite a few. Excuse me, quite a few NBA players and NFL players that they got sucker pretty good, son. Pretty good. Meaning everything was all lovely dovey just a week ago.
Mm,
Now she talking about taking half your stuff.
mm, yeah. Poetic Justice says in arranged marriage, they usually don't divorce. That's why women are being burned with acid and such. They want out is disrespectful in a Muslim home, at least. That I I've seen several times. I know a Muslim guy that I used to work with, and he used to tell me stuff like that too. So yeah, um,
That's kind of
that, that's
harsh.
that's cold blooded. Um,
Yeah, man.
I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free, because that don't happen too much over here. It probably does, but I don't know. And Patrice says, nope, marriages then were based on a covenant. That meant you stayed together until death do us part. And that goes into what we were talking about earlier with, you know, why people stayed married longer, and what was different, and, stuff like that. Because, yeah, back then it was a taboo to get a divorce.
Yeah.
Man.
So, why do women who divorce become outcasts when men do not?
Um, I don't know how to word it properly, But I'm going to say because in a lot of cultures and a lot of societies, women were looked down on. And if something happened wrong in the marriage, it was typically the people blame the woman unfairly, I will say. Um, so,
I definitely agree with that, Patrice.
yeah. Um, so that's why, you know, women were treated as outcasts. Plus, I think in a lot of those situations, um, yeah, they still do blame women. And it's crazy that women catch a lot of the blame, and a lot of us we know better. It's not always the woman's fault because a woman cannot keep. She can't force a man to want to be where he does not want to be. And women are looked at as, well, you didn't do enough. Well, what did you do wrong? What did you not do? Um, you so many ridiculous excuses to blame a woman for a marriage failing. Um, what do you have to say on that?
Um, I'll simply say that with other cultures, when a woman, wants out of a marriage to a certain extent, and again, don't chop my head off of this, but other countries, other countries, they kind of look at women as property.
Yeah, they
So
do.
uh, when a female's like, I want out of here, the dude or the man of the relationship was like, "You're my property. What the hell are you talking about?" So she can go to her family and say, this isn't working. I want out. And her family's pretty much going to tell her, we've made this agreement.
Mm,
You have bonded with this man. So, no, you can't have out. And if
mm,
she tries to leave, her family, her own family, in some countries, will try to murder her or
mm,
do some ill will to her.
mm.
Um, but it's a shame that it's still like that. But again, that's a different culture, different country. So
Yeah. Um, yeah. That and that's a bunch of yeah. So um Patrice said something that goes directly into our next talking point. Are there taboos surrounding multiple divorces, stigmas? Why? And her point was a man can be married again and again, but a woman can't. Um, because a woman has dishonored her family. Yeah, that's another reason. Yeah, yeah. But that's still a bunch of bullshit. Um, but talking about multiple marriages, women have been looked at as dirty for marrying over and over and over and over and over again, or hell, just being married twice. I think it's changed a lot these days, where it's depending on that woman's status, it's acceptable. Because if you look at Elizabeth Taylor, I think she was married what nine times or something like that. And people talk, but it's not like they really talk that bad about her. But let it be a female that you and I know, she'd get dragged through the mud.
I think it's easier to uh, not carry a stigma when you have money. So in the case of Elizabeth Taylor, like she's a movie star, she got bank, and any man she married had bank. So it was nothing considered, back in that particular era because she was wealthy and famous. So I think that's why it was more accepted in her particular case.
Yeah,
Um, the average person back then, I think it was, a bad thing or, a stigma. But nowadays, you know, people accept it and roll with it, and I don't think there's so much of a stigma with it anymore. It's kind of like it just didn't work out,
Mm.
regardless of whose fault it was.
When it comes to men, um, not only does it depend on your status, but it also depends on your your cultural background to a degree. Um, because I remember, I'll say this: after my first marriage, I was like, I ain't never getting married again, and then I did it again, and people was like, "Oh, damn, you been married twice?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I used to feel some kind of way about it because it was like, "Damn, is that bad?" And then, but shit, I had at that time I knew people who were married more than once.
Mhm.
Um, And then going up to the third time, oh, you don't get married again? Oh, three's a charm. Oh, this might be the lucky one, and blah blah blah. Why would you do it again? And I
Yeah.
kind of almost felt some kind of way. And then I got divorced. Oh damn, you've been divorced 3 times. Oh God, did you do it again? Oh no. And then I had to sit back and put my grown man thinking on and
Hmm.
say, these people are trying to judge me. And I gotta say, well, how many to women? I would say, well, how many dicks have you had in your life? And on average, they would have had 4, 5, maybe 6 dicks in their lives. Um, maybe 2 or 3. But in comparison, but then they would say, "Oh, it's not the same." And I was like, "Wait, how is it not the same?" "Oh, because you got married. You went and got papers, and you did this and did that, and blah 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 blah." And I had to sit back and be clever and crafty with my response and say, "Well, the only difference between the two is a piece of paper. I'm pretty sure that you had to go through some type of emotional bonding, this, that, and the other, in order to crack open your legs and give this man the golden goose, right or wrong. So, how dare you judge me on having 3 marriages when you've been in love or whatever you want to call it 4 or 5 times? Help me understand." And then, when dudes are saying, I'm like, wait a minute, homie, player, you're the same pimp and laid up with 15 women. How dare you judge me on my marriages? I mean, you had to mind fuck some of these women to get them in the bed. So what's the difference? Like, come on. But getting back to the topic at hand, there should be no stigma or taboo, um, or whatever when uh, a man or woman divorces multiple times. The shit didn't work.
I agree with you
20
on.
times in some cases. 20 is a lot. I have my limits.
I,
Oh man.
I'll say, I've been in that boat before. My first marriage was a practice run. That's what I like to refer to it as.
Mhm.
Um, with my second marriage that I'm still currently in, I'll say this: I enjoy the whole marriage relationship things.
Mhm.
It comes with its own obstacle courses and um, no manuals, unfortunately. But um, it's an experience in life. So how I look at people who have been, divorced or numerous of times have been divorced, it's kind of like you're so committed to wanting to be with someone
Right.
that you're willing to, sign the papers and marry them.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong when things do not work out. Like you said, simply it just didn't work out. So as far as looking at someone, or attaching a stigma to them, evidently they love them enough to marry them. It
Mhm.
just didn't work out. That's all.
Right. Um Patrice says we all have had our practice marriage. Um, I mean, I agree with both of y'all. I mean, we all had a practice marriage. You say the first one was a practice, but I will offer this. Every marriage is a practice marriage unless you two reach it till death do you part. I mean, because if you go in it with the intent on it being till death do us part, and it doesn't work that way, and you get married a second time, that first one was a practice run. You take
Right.
what you learned and didn't learn from that, you take it on to the second one. If that one fails, shit, it was another practice run. If that one fails, you go for a third one, another practice run. Eventually, you're either going to succeed or you're going to say, I'm tired of practicing. This is not the goddamn sport for me.
Very well said, sir. Very well
Shit, I know
said.
how to sit on the goddamn bench.
Okay. I know how to be an observer.
Right, shit. And there's no taboo in it. Like, come on, like seriously. I just don't see why people make it such a taboo. When it's like everybody has a failed relationship, no matter what it is. And it's the crazy thing. We talk about divorce being a sin or taboo. Um, hell, the average relationship is a sin or taboo if you really want to look at it, because
True.
some of those people in some of those religious organizations say you shouldn't fornicate. That's a sin. That's a taboo. So tomato tomato. So it, it is what it is. Who, me gonna get it right one day? Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. I'm not opposed to doing it. If it happens, it happens. If not, then it don't. I don't, it is what it is.
I understand. Knock on wood.
Huh?
So, what are some reasons people get divorced today? How do they compare to the reasons couples got married?
Whew. Um, Before we get into the talking points that we have listed under this, I will say, not mentally, physically, and emotionally prepared to take on that task would be some reasons people get divorced today. People getting married to prove a point to other people would be a reason people get divorced today. Um, what you got?
All right. Um, when it comes down to divorce, I think some of the reasons nowadays is people are very. I'm trying to put this delicately without pissing anyone off, but people are hurt.
Mm.
And some cases hurt
Hurt
people, as they
people.
say. You know what I'm saying? They do. Cause it's kind of like I see your pain, I see, your jagged edges, and I think that my edges and smooth points, I think we can make them work. We can make them
Mm.
mesh. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then once they get everything collides together or pulled together, then those jagged edges and smooth points they start to move around a little bit.
Like
So then,
tectonic plates.
yeah. So at that point, it's like I can't deal with your jagged edges anymore. I'm
Mm.
sorry. I thought I could, but yours a little too sharp right now.
Mm.
Um, but there are certain phases people go through in life. I feel that they mature differently.
Yeah.
Um, Again, someone who may have been a homebody back then, their life has changed, their view on life has changed, and maybe they don't want to be a homebody anymore,
Mm,
or maybe they feel like they're going through some type of midlife crisis, and they feel like they haven't gotten out and explored life enough.
mm,
Unfortunately, sometimes that means they go and do things that the other person wish they wouldn't do. So, as a consequence of doing things that your mate uh, doesn't agree with, it leads to divorce, whatever that
yeah.
may be. Um, I will also say that when it comes to getting married, and again, I could be, speaking out of turn here, but I think people really do want someone to love them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people want to love someone special. They want to have that special bond with someone. They
Right.
want to, you know, in most cases, they want to build. They want to have kids, or if not kids, then have someone they can explore. What this journey we call life is about.
Mm,
Um, it also comes down to I'm at a different phase in my life now. I had my fun back in the day, and I've done all the things I wanted to do as a single person, and now my life has changed and my views have changed, and I want to settle down and turn the page in my life and start a new chapter. So
yeah. True. Patrice says too many options. Then thinking you could do better with someone else. That is a
that
thing.
is true. That is so true.
That is a thing.
It is.
Too many options. I mean, when it comes to too many options, famous people have a lot of options, and they tend to jump from marriage to marriage, sometimes every 6 months, every year. Um, and a lot of the people in the common world try to emulate that because, hey, shit, if they could do it, I could do it.
Right.
Yeah. And Patrice says to what you were saying about the jagged edges, and the jagged edges stabbing the spouse the whole time. Man, look, look here. That right there,
Yeah.
that right there sits close to home with me because my last one had some jagged edges, and them jagged edges was, woo, Lord have mercy. That's a different topic, but yeah, those who know her know she has a lot of jagged edges, and yeah, now Look, I can own my half of the bullshit in that marriage, but yeah, yeah. Poetic Justice says people don't talk about what they want or expect before marriage. They assume that the man or woman will know their love language, their true wants and needs. That is very, very true as well. Um, and that,
Definitely.
and that takes us into our next talking point on this, which is love. What if you loved or were in love with someone and you grew apart? And to add on to that, what if you uh, try to grow to love someone?
Ooh. Ooh, that's a good one. Um, Let me take on the latter part first. So growing to love someone, um, I think it does happen because again, with arranged marriages, evidently it does happen.
Hmm.
Because these are two strangers and they have no clue how the other person is, but they know that they're committed to this marriage. And again, you plant the seed, eventually it will grow into something beautiful.
Hmm.
Um, and what's the other part? Loving someone. Okay, so we often, when we start a marriage or a relationship, we love a person for that person.
Hmm.
But as time goes on, that person change, you change, you guys viewpoints change. What you initially wanted at one point, you don't want anymore. You want something different. So, and that's not talking about someone else. that could be just talking about life goals.
Yeah.
I feel. Um, so again, when you first start is one type of love. As time goes on, meaning your marriage, grows and you guys start on and coming in, together, build. But as time goes on, meaning 4 or 5 years or beyond that, again, your goals change. You see life differently. So it's kind of like you're asking that person to love the person you are now as opposed to the person you originally started off with.
Mm,
And that's where I think some of the breakdown comes in because it's like that's not what one of the person signed up for.
hmm
Even though they've changed, you are not the same. You are not that person that I fell in love with. So,
hmm
your thoughts,
Now,
sir?
if Phoenix was on here, she would probably say that uh, being with somebody looking at you as the only one that they want to be with is weird.
Yeah, yeah, that she would.
Patrice says marriage is a living organism. It is supposed to grow and change.
I definitely agree with that.
And Poetic Justice agrees with her. Yeah, I agree too. Part of the problem with that though is I don't want to necessarily say people don't want to put in the work. Um, some people are tired, and do not know how or not equipped with the tools to regenerate themselves in order to regenerate that marital bond. And either they throw their hands up and leave, or they'll stick into it until they're miserable and it kills them mentally, emotionally, physically, and literally sometimes. Um, so to that point, when you talk about love, if you're not reinventing love in that relationship, then it's definitely not going to last. Um, and that's another situation where I think women get blamed for it, and it's a taboo on them because it's like, well, you didn't keep your man happy, and it's like, but to a degree, it's not someone's responsibility so much to make that other person happy, because if they're not happy in general, it's like there's literally not much you can do to change that. Patrice says, but if your mate isn't growing and changing, just staying the same, then your relationship ain't gonna work. That is true. Because if you're not growing and evolving together, um, then you know that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah. I think the thing about love, though, is sometimes we as humans, when we find someone that we want to fall in love with or, that we want to give our love to,
Mhm.
we think that we can love them so much that we can love them past their pains.
Hmm.
We
Good
think that
damn point.
we can, if I just overload you with my love and show you that not everybody in this world is the same, you
Hmm.
know, if I just keep pouring into you, eventually my love for you will fill you up to the point that we equal each other out. And
That's toxic.
unfortunately, it doesn't work like that.
That's very toxic.
That it does.
And toxic stuff like that not only destroys a marriage. I think toxicity in certain marriages is a taboo for some people. Um, you don't have to look at the taboo as a global thing, so to speak. You can individualize the taboo when it comes to marriage and divorce because of a person's experiences. So yeah, that's definitely a good point. Yep, and like Patrice says, you'll be all poured out,
Heck yeah, you will.
all poured out. Definitely, definitely, definitely. um, honor. If you were cheating with someone you married, what were your expectations? Was that a sin? God, I'm gonna let you take that first.
Ooh, ooh. Honor is one of those words where um, we feel that that also means dedication. That also means, I'm gonna stay true to you and true to you only. Um,
Mm. Another
but
thing Phoenix would say is weird,
yeah,
or strange, or however she would word it.
but I think honor means, and again, this is just my personal opinion. Honor also means that no matter what the hell we go through, I'm gonna stick it out with you through thick and thin, as
Mm,
long as you're willing to stick it out with me through thick and thin.
mm,
Um, Unfortunately, again, people have different needs within relationships. And again,
mm,
I'm no expert here. Um, Sometimes for women, I think is more verbal and more. Um, they're looking for more than just physicality. You know what I'm saying? It has to go past that for them. And again, I'm no expert, but I think with men is more about the touch, and the
mm,
women is more of a visual thing. There are plenty of women out here who will tell you, you can be as fine as all day, but if you can't touch me mentally, then we have nothing to talk about.
mhm,
But um, I don't know. I just think that honor. Thank you, Patrice. Need a connection, definitely. Um, Honor. It's up to one's interpretation of it,
mm.
basically nowadays.
Right. Um, I want to go back. Poetic Justice says chemistry as well. I want to go
Yes,
back to
ma'am.
what Patrice said. She said you can't build a marriage on a shaky foundation. And now we're talking about honor here. And in this, the main point is if you were cheating with someone you married, what were your expectations? Was that a sin? Um, okay, so and I wish you was on here to expand upon this and give me feedback and rebuttal if you could. But let's just say two people were married and one of them is cheating with someone. They get a divorce. In
Hmm.
some people's eyes, that's a sin or a taboo because if they know the circumstances, because you divorced this man who was good to you, presumably,
Right.
to marry this man or this woman, however the dynamic is, that you were cheating with. Some people will look at that as that's not going to work because that person was the shiny new thing while you were cheating. So because you were cheating to be with this person, that relationship is going to end the same way. And some people will look at that as starting on shaky ground. Now, I've known people who have done that. They were married, unhappy, or whatever the case may be, cheating on their spouse, hooked up with someone else, and it either lasted or it failed. Um, People will look at the first situation as a sin and taboo because you were cheating on this person, you broke that person's heart, or whatever the case may be, to be with
Right.
this one. And they would look at this new relationship as taboo because it's like you were cheating with this person for that person. So if this ends, it was a taboo. It was sin. It was karma. It was this. It was that. Um, do you think that's a sin? I mean, I know we're not you and I are not ultra religious when it comes to this aspect of stuff like that. But if you were to provide your input, would you say that was a sin?
Hmm. That's a very tough question to answer. I would have to say it is.
Really?
And that's from a religious standpoint, if I took that view. But in all actuality, my view, shit happens. It is
Yeah,
what it is.
that shit happen.
You can't. Um, People are so different nowadays, and times are so different now. It's hard to say or call someone out on something that again is human nature. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
I know that in the Bible it says it is a sin and all that, but again, you cannot stop human nature. If that was the case, then we all be the damn same.
mhm.
Um, so I'm going to take the stance of if I'm looking at it from a religious, and I know you're saying you're taking both sides of the fence, but it is what it is. If you're looking at it from a religious standpoint, then yes. But if you're looking at it from human nature standpoint, then no.
Look here. Mm, it's not that I take both sides of the fence.
Right.
I kind of say it is what it is. Um, that marriage or whatever ended in a sin because that person is cheating with someone, I'm kind of like, well, apparently them two people did not need to be together any longer because if they were needed to be together or whatever the case may be, they would have fixed it before it got that far, or
Right.
they would have recovered it before it came to an end. Um, as far as marrying someone that they were cheating with, um it is what it is. Like you said, you can't stop physical attraction in certain you know things. So uh,
It's a hard question to answer.
but then if you look at it, then if you really want to be like crazy religious, like anybody who's been married more than once is committing a goddamn sin and it's taboo. So
Yeah.
yeah, because if you marry again, you're committing adultery. So like it's like it don't matter. So it just doesn't matter.
No. So cherish. Do we have to be married to cherish and protect one another if the marriage doesn't last?
Hmm. I'm kind of at a loss. Um, do we have to be married to cherish and protect one another if the marriage doesn't last?
I
Hell
think
no. I mean, I guess not. Uh,
I'm just looking at it like this. It's kind of like with any relationship, whether it was terminated on good circumstances or bad circumstances.
mhm.
Um, Hopefully, it was good. But if it was good, you don't have to hate someone because you guys didn't work out. You just
True.
freaking work out. So it's kind of like we can still be friends even though you know our marriage didn't work.
Hmm.
We don't have to hate each other. In some cases, couples still have kids and businesses and things along that line. So it's kind of like they find a way to form a new relationship, even though their marriage has, you
Hmm.
know, been resolved.
Um, quite honestly, you don't have to be married to cherish and protect one another if the marriage doesn't last. I mean, if it doesn't last, it just doesn't matter. Last. If you have mutual respect for one another, then all that other stuff is whatever.
Right.
That's how I look at it. Till death do us part. Marriages are supposed to last until death in the Christian and most other faiths. Are they though?
Hmm.
I mean, everybody is rewriting the word every goddamn day. So, are they supposed to last until death do you part?
think people still have that ideal when they give their vows. I think that's still a part of the ideal. Now, as far as sticking with that idea, that's the question.
Hmm. um, yeah. But here it is. Here's the thing. And Patrice says it's supposed to. Um, um, and Patrice says, but free will keeps getting in the way. And Travaia says, yes, marriage is a covenant with God. Um, I'm gonna answer that with saying, uh, each time I got married at a courthouse or a justice of the peace. I never did it before God, so I, I don't know. Um, to respond to this overall, um, as looking at it as supposed to last until death. That's just like saying a man is supposed to always do everything he has to do to keep that woman happy. And that woman is always supposed to do everything she's supposed to do to keep that man happy. That means no goddamn day off. Shavaya, no, that's not the problem. Stop it, damn it. Um, and Patrice says God was still there, you know. I'm a heathen, so I don't know where God was when I did that. but but honestly, just to keep it real, if marriage is supposed to last until death, that means everybody is supposed to be on their A game every goddamn day, no days off. I don't care if your feet hurt. I don't care if it's that time of the month. I don't care if homie. I don't care if you work two shifts. It don't matter. You're supposed to, if it's supposed to be till death do your part, then I'm just saying, yes you can and yes you will. Uh um I'm already been forgiven. I was forgiven before we started this podcast. But I'm just saying, like, if it's supposed to end in death, like there was a story where this couple, they were older and they were in the nursing home or whatever the case may be, and they died in each other's arms. I think that's a beautiful story. They were meant to be together like that. That was meant to be. However, they made it work, whether they prayed on it and whatever. But apparently, they stayed on their A game the entire marriage. How many of us are staying on our A game every goddamn day in a marriage? I mean, every day.
Yeah, I agree with Patrice. Marriage is work. That whew,
It is work.
it's work. It's work, and it's not like you get a whole lot of vacation days either. So it's one of those requirements to make your marriage work. Is every day. Every day you got to go in there with okay. Uh, my mindset is I'm in love with this person. So even though again we have our issues or our problems, I'm just committed to making sure I do everything within my power to help us work. And it's
Mm.
kind of like you want your mate to have that same viewpoint, but sometimes they don't. Um, Again, I don't think it's a bad thing when people get a divorce. It just it's kind of like a college course, and I've said this before. Is you sign up for the college course, you learn everything you can from this course. You know, sometimes you pass, sometimes you fail, but it's still a different aspect or a different phase in your life. So
Mm.
you just got to take it for what it is. You know, experience on life.
Uh, yeah. So I was talking about, people gotta be on the A game every day. And Poet just says, what is your A game today? Um, I have no idea what people's A game is today because people go into marriages for so many different reasons. They get divorced for so many different reasons. Um, again, I I'm not qualified to say certain things when it comes to that, but again, everybody's A game depends on their particular marriage. Like my A game is not going to be the same as yours, and whatever woman I'm not with, her A game is not going to be the same as your wife. So, I mean, in my opinion, people on their A game, they can't look at that other person and be like, God damn, I'm tired of your shit today. I mean, because that would be sick leave or time off because you're tired of that motherfucker. You need a break. Um. So, and Patrice says no sick leave or time off. That means you cannot look at that person and say you get on my fucking nerves today, and I need a break from you. You can't do it. You just can't do it. Patrice says you are making the commitment to put the other person first. Here's the problem with putting somebody else first. Are they going to equally put you first?
Good question.
Oh yeah, and then again, folks are marrying without learning their prospective spouses, and that goes back to what I always say. When do you ever really really know someone? Like again, people have been together for 5, 10 years, not married, but as soon as they get married, that shit fall apart, and it's like y'all had 10 years to know each other, 10 whole years. Lovey says you can look at them and say that to yourself, but if not in your best interest to say it to that person. Okay, glad you put that out there. People like to say you manifest your thoughts. So if someone is looking at their spouse and being like in their head, what a goddamn the biggest goddamn Kool-Aid smile. I can't stand that motherfucker. Give me a hug. You might as well be saying that to their face. I mean, Stephanie says they should reciprocate the same. Uh, Putting someone before you leads to you losing yourself to please the other. Yep. And I say that about that damn word compromise. Um, Living with them can help you get to truly know a person. Hey, again, I've known people who have been together 5, 10 years, living together, not married, but as soon as they get married, they fall apart. No foundation. That's why courting is important. Shit, I can get on a basketball court and still lose a game. So I'm just saying, I don't know. Sure, there were signs. There were always signs. Yes, there's always a damn sign. There's a stop sign, go sign, yield sign, but we all go through them jokers like it ain't shit. So it's either you're going to take heed to the signs and move cautiously, or you're going to run through that joke, or you're going to back off.
I'm going to go back to what Poetic Justice was saying. Let me see. Putting someone before you leads to you losing yourself to please the other. I totally agree with that. And I actually had to learn that the hard way,
Mm,
meaning with my current marriage. There's a point where I put my all, I felt I put my all
hmm
into, our marriage. And then I would feel drained to a certain extent. And that's no
hmm
disrespect towards my wife. It's just that, again, when you're trying to please someone else or make someone else happy, it can lead to you being so drained and so discouraged that you're going to either fall apart or you're going to have to come up with a new strategy. And that's
hmm
exactly what I did. I came up with a new strategy. And my strategy was your ass is responsible for your happiness, and I am responsible for my happiness. So, um,
Woo! Oh my god.
and that's one of the conversations we had, and my wife agreed. So, uh, again, that's not a bad thing. It's just simply saying I can't look to my mate to make me happy, and she can't look, to me to make her happy. Only thing
Hmm.
I can do and the only thing she can do is add to the happiness that's already there.
Hmm.
So when I'm in a good mood, she sees I'm in a good mood, she joins in with that good mood, and vice versa. So that's kind of like one of those things that through the course of being married, we both had to learn. Don't look for me to make you happy.
Mm.
It's not gonna work like that.
So with Lovey, she says she don't agree with me. Everybody has a bad day. Now, if you have more bad days than you do good days, then you may need to rethink some shit and communicate the feelings to your mate. I agree with you disagreeing with me. I agree because yes, everybody has a bad day. And yes, sometimes if you have more bad days than you do good days, you need to rethink some shit. But how many bad days is too many? It could be one bad day. Uh, you know, like you were saying, you had to try a different strategy. Um, you're responsible for your own happiness. Some people might take that a certain way if they're not built tough.
Right.
And they get in their feelings. So I mean, some people can't handle being responsible for their own happiness because some people are looking for other people to make them happy. And then it gets to that divorce part. And then it's like, regardless of how they, whether they got to the church or whatever the case may be, outsiders be like, oh, that's sinful. Oh, that's, all this other nonsense out there. So, I mean, it's a lot that goes on with it. Someone else being responsible for your happiness gives them too much power and responsibility. Adding to your happiness is what it's about. Yes.
I
Uh,
totally agree with you.
Definitely can't give people that much goddamn power. Um,
Mm-mm.
and that power, goes both ways. You can't allow them to be responsible for your happiness, and you also can't allow them to be held responsible for your misery on that same token. Um, yeah, if you're not happy with within yourself, that's your problem. And in my
Hell yeah,
third
it
marriage,
is.
it got to that point. It's like, damn, shorty, you're not happy within your damn self. I gotta, and I literally did like the Baltimore coach, packed my shit and moved out in the middle of the night. Um, no bullshit.
Dang, cold blooded, man,
I was
cold
like, I
blooded.
can't do this, and honest, I didn't care what anybody think. Well, you're not gonna make it work. It's like you was not in this hell, but you're not supposed to get a divorce. I'm not going through that bullshit no more. No, I don't care. Mm-mm.
Man
Happiness is
said the
burst on
middle of the night.
but joy is internal. That's a different way to put it. Uh, Interesting. Um, is divorce an escape clause? Does till death do us part mean until enough is enough in today's society?
That's exactly what that shit means. Until I've had enough. Until I cannot put up with your BS anymore.
Mm,
Is I cannot breathe in all the BS that's around me.
mm.
So I mean, you can't look at divorce as an escape clause. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. This shit is not working for me, so I got to divorce your ass.
You know what? I will say it's an escape clause for those who were not fully invested into getting into it. And I would say that part of this conversation is a sin because you knew that you were not invested in it, and you intentionally went into that knowing that you were not invested in it. And that's a problem. That's just a problem. But just as that's the big loophole. Mm, it's a loophole.
A, a crazy thought just came to me. This one person that I met, she's a Caucasian female,
Mhm.
but she told me the way her family looked at it as far as marriage and divorce is the first time you get married for money. The
Whoa.
second time, The
What
second
the
time you get married for love. So
mm,
I when she told me that, it
mm,
really flipped my way of looking at marriage. Like some people actually go into it thinking that way.
mm.
That's bizarre and crazy to me, but some people do.
I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think you're setting yourself up for failure doing that. Like getting love. That you might as well be having arranged marriage if that's the case. Lovey, you ain't shit. But hey, like we said earlier, that was a practice run.
Yeah. Evidently. Evidently.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. And they're giving shots out to Patrice saying that marriage is not a quick fix for your instability. It damn sure ain't. I
No.
look,
No, hell no.
um, that's the first one didn't count. To add to what Patrice was saying, marriage is not a quick fix for your instability. Um, when my last marriage was failing, uh, she said I tricked her into getting married. And my thing was
Interesting.
I didn't trick you. I said what I wanted. I said what I was not going to tolerate, meaning I'm not going to be shacked up with someone playing married. I'm not doing that. I no. If that's what I want to do, then I'm not. Why are we doing this? I don't need you here if we're going to play married. So she said that she married me because of that conversation. And I'm like, you had a choice. You had a whole choice. You could have went back to where the hell you came from. I didn't force you. I said, if we're going to shack up, I don't want to be together. There is no gun to your head saying that you have to marry me. I'm not holding anybody hostage. That's too stressful. Like, hell no. Like, I don't want to wake up and get hit with goddamn hot grits. Like, hell no. Like, no. If you want to leave, go. Bye. I don't know. Just bye. I'm determined to get it right the next time if it comes around again. And yes, Patrice, hey, we are all, if we're serious about what we want, we are all determined to get it right that next time. Um, yeah. Married because they don't want to. Yes, a lot of people get married because they don't want to be alone.
Yes, definitely.
And that's the part of the conversation that goes into uh, it being a taboo and also borderline sinful because it's like you're not happy. You're looking for somebody to fill you. You get into that, and uh, it's just ugly. Just ugly, man. It's just ugly.
Yeah, it is.
Mm.
So, divorce is not a sin if the marriage is not working. It allows the friendship to continue always and forever.
That depends on the people. Um, because again, religious people will look at that differently. They'll covenant of God and all this, that, and the other. But um, my first and second wives, we down like 4 flats, cut a spare, make it 5. We didn't look at divorce as a sin. Shit wasn't working. We got divorced, and we're good friends. Third one, no. It just depends on the people, where your head is at, where your mind is at, where your heart is at. If the marriage is toxic and it's toxic and it's not healthy for you mentally, physically, emotionally, and all those other things, there's no reason to stay in that. And I damn sure I'm not going to look at that as a sin, because it's like, that's not healthy for me. I don't look at that as taboo either, because again, that's not healthy for me. Why am I going to stay somewhere that's draining my life? Like, uh, that's like committing suicide. Like, I'm not going to commit to, no, hell no. No, I don't look at that as a sin. Um, Patrice said, for me, I thought I would be married again by now, but I have had to check myself to make sure I'm not doing it for the wrong reason. And a lot of us out there doing that, checking ourselves. Um, yes, toxicity can kill you dead.
Yeah. So I think when it does come down to a situation where you have to divorce, um, I think that's the best thing to do. And the reason I feel like that is evidently you both have come to a place in that relationship where you know it's just not working.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the worst thing you can do is when you have a marriage situation where one person knows it's not working and the other person is, well, we made this vow to stay together even though they know for themselves it's not working.
Right.
So it's kind of like you want to stay in a toxic relationship where neither one of you are happy, both of you are miserable, um, for whatever reason. So it's kind of like, why would you keep putting yourself in the mud, as they say?
Mm-hmm.
When you both got ropes, you can pull yourselves out. Why stay into that situation when it's not doing any one of you any good? I think it takes more courage to damn get out of the situation than to stay in it.
Yeah. And Lovey says, I ain't staying if I'm miserable just to say I'm married. And here's the part when it comes to, how, the religious minded people, oh, it's a sin if you get divorced and you should do this and you should do that. If one person says, hey, you know what, we've been going through X, Y, and Z for all this time and this, that, and other, it's just not working. We need to part ways. And the other person was like, oh no, in the eyes of God, we did this, that, and other. It's like, but it's not working. It's like we have whatever we had in common, whatever bridged us together, that bridge is broken. Why are we staying together? Because you don't want to feel like you sinned, or you don't want to be looked upon a certain way. And it's like, so what? We're just gonna walk around here playing, putting on face for everybody, and then what? I mean, at what point do you be like, let's be real with ourselves and stop, playing for the audience? Yeah, well, people do that. If you're seeing red flags everywhere, why would you compound the situation and marry that person? Well, if we're looking at the topic, why stay married to that person? Um, a lot of people get into marriages and stuff like that, even though they see red flags, because they don't feel like the red flags are that serious, or that, and like you were saying, they'll go away, or like it was said earlier, you might grow to love someone and you both mature into a place where it's whatever the case may be. It works for some people, it don't. But if those red flags are there and they're not going anywhere, and you end up marrying that person, there's nothing wrong with getting divorced. I don't see nothing wrong with it at all.
No, I'll tell it to you like my cousin told me. If we can't run together, we damn sure gonna have to run apart. That's just what it is. If we cannot run together, if we can't make shit work together, meaning put the bullshit to the side and focus on us and doing what we have to do to make this marriage work, then we got to separate. We got to run apart.
Mm-hmm. We can run different races, goddamn it, at a different place, at a different pace. And it's not that serious. I mean, like a lot of us have learned and agreed, peace of mind is every goddamn thing.
Yes, it is. Especially nowadays.
I'm telling you, when I packed up my shit and left this joker, I left my house. I said, fuck it all. And this motherfucker was going into foreclosure. I said, fuck this house. I was like, my peace of mind is everything. And I tell you, that was one of the best damn decisions I made in my entire life after making a whole lot of fucked up decisions when it came to relationships. That was one of the best. I don't regret it. I don't feel tabooed about it. I don't feel it was sinful. Um, the sin would have been to stay in that and just, yeah, mm, yeah. I just, yeah, yes, indeed. So let's jump to the next question. And ladies, please, please chime in. Do prenuptial agreements set marriages up to fail? Ladies, what say ye?
Yeah.
What do y'all say, ladies? What do you think?
I don't think it does. I don't think it's setting the marriage up to fail. It's kind of like a catch-all,
Mm,
just in case it doesn't work.
mm,
Um, in the case of wealthy people, they're more likely to get a prenup than people who are basically just coming together and who really don't have a whole lot. Because that couple coming together, they're going to build together. So it's kind of like you can't really take anything from the other person if you ain't got shit or they ain't got shit either. So, but I think that wealthy people definitely it serves them a whole hell of a lot more than the average person.
uh, so Patrice says no, it levels the playing field. Uh, I want to speak on that. Sheila says nope, not at all. And Lovey says I don't think they do, but the terms would need to be read fully and agreed upon. That is definitely true, which a lot of people just don't read the fine goddamn print. They just
Hmm.
sign on the line and be like, okay, baby. Um, as far as it leveling the playing field, um, if you have a person that's worth $350,000, whatever, and you have another person that's worth 60, that playing field ain't ever gonna be level. In
No.
my opinion. Um, I think in a situation like that, yes, a prenup is definitely deserved for whoever is the higher earner. Um, but then, yes, courtship, yes, knowing a person, but I mean, it's a crapshoot because people change. Money changes people, man. Yeah. Um, but just says it's like they already don't trust them going into the marriage, but I have never dealt with that. And some people look at it like that. Some people look at it as, oh, you need a prenup, then you don't trust me. I used to look at it like that back in the day. And but that was long before my mind was exposed to all the fuckery that went on in marriages. So I think divorce is a taboo in this arena when you don't have a prenup and that other person is just draining you recklessly. Yes, it means protect the person that earns more. But yeah, what you got?
I don't know. I think it kind of protects the person who doesn't earn as much. And I mean that because the person who earns the most or has the most money,
Hmm.
there are certain clauses and stipulations within that contract. So for the state of California, I know that 10 years is the cutoff point. So anything in between 1 to 10 years, your ass is only getting what's in that damn contract. Point
Hmm.
blank, period. But anything after that 10 years, even if it's
Hmm.
10 years in an hour or 10 years in a day, then that means, hey, I'm finna take your ass down through there. I'm finna get it. So it's fair game at that point. In the state of California, they feel that if you stayed in a marriage for 10 years, whatever that wealthier person has, it now becomes y'all's, as they say here in the South. It's y'all's, and 9 times out of 10, the person who came into marriage with less, they're gonna be rolling pretty damn good after those 10 years.
You want to know something funny?
Go ahead.
When I started exposing my brain to the whole prenup, gold digger, and this, that, and the other damn thing, I looked at my marriages and none of them went past 10 years. And I low key mentally was like, I ain't going 10 years with this bullshit, because if I do, that joker gonna get something from me. And I never had a prenup, so it was like 10 we gotta cut off here. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh.
That 10 years, that's the point.
Hey, we gotta wrap this shit up.
All right. That's what Tom Cruise did. He's like, whoa, I'm almost at the 10 years. Hold on.
Oh man.
But do the items in a prenup force couples to stay in a marriage to avoid losing things?
That goes to what Lovey was saying. You gotta read that shit. You gotta read that shit. You gotta read that shit, because you gotta read that shit when it's drawn up. You gotta read the draft copy of that. I divorced 9.75 years. Didn't matter what I couldn't receive, because it was worth staying a day longer. It wasn't worth staying a day long. Hey, it depends on where you at with that. Yeah.
Yeah, some bullshit
Yeah.
just ain't worth it. I don't give a damn what it is.
You be like, God damn it, I got 2.5 years left, and I can get 50,000 when I walk out the door. But you know what? Nah, fuck that bullshit. I'm out of here. Damn that. It's either I leave. It's either I leave freely, or I'm gonna leave in handcuffs with a jumpsuit. So, yeah.
I don't know. 100,000 though. 100,000. I might have to reconsider that damn 2 years.
That. I'll stand on the corner. I'll stand on the corner and make up the difference. If it
your ass live on one side of the house, I live on the other.
Oh hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
Shit, I ain't gotta see you to be married to your ass.
I tried that. I know. Hell no. Hell no. Lovey says, jail was the next place. Waking up wishing a brother would say something stupid so I could bust him upside the head with the Louisville slug. Exactly.
Ooh.
Exactly.
That boy had a problem.
Patrice said, I'll go sleep in the guest house. Damn that. Let me tell you something.
Shit.
Nah,
100,000?
No.
I'm in the guest house with you, Patrice.
Look here. No. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Look, I tried that. I was like, hey, you stay the hell upstairs, I'll stay downstairs. We don't have to deal with each other. None of that nonsense. But she would do stupid shit like go in my room when I'm not at home. Like I work in DC, so it took me an hour and a half to get to work. I worked a 12.5-hour shift. It took me an hour and a half to get home. I would come home and shit is moved around. And it's like Lovey said, that Louisville slugger. So
what the hell is she doing in your room though? You had an agreement.
Shit, it wasn't in writing. You stay upstairs, I stay downstairs. And if you got a petty ass, then I'm not thinking about sin. I'm not thinking about taboo. I'm thinking about let me get the hell up out of this joint before something reckless happens. We're going to move some furniture. We're going to shake the foundation of the house. We're going to make the tectonic plates rumble, and we're going to make Mount Vesuvius erupt. Nah, I'm out.
Damn it, man.
Gotta go. Yeah. But I mean, people stay in marriages to avoid losing things, and here's the thing: when it comes to divorce being a sin of taboo, some people feel like if they leave, they're going to be looked at a certain way because they left with nothing. So they stay there, and it's like, nah, fuck that. Nah, I'm gone. Mm-mm.
Like I always tell my wife, if it came to that, knock on wood again, you can have everything. All this material shit don't make me, because I'm the type of man. Just like I got this shit with you, I'm gonna get it on my own. But this time, I'm gonna get it a hell of a lot faster because I already done made the blueprint. So staying in a marriage for materialistic things to me is crazy. You can always buy another car. You can always buy another house. You damn sure as hell can't buy your damn peace of mind. That's the
Mm-mm.
thing I be getting at.
Patrice said she was not afraid when she rolled out both times. And Lovey says she initially stayed because of the kids, and a lot of people do that.
True.
But it was her daughter that pointed out that the misery was visible at the moment. It was time to make some moves. And that I'm glad you brought up that point, because a lot of people stay in situations because of the kids. And a lot of us who have been married more than a day, or whatever the case may be, and we can have our friends on the outside, well, why don't you just leave, blah blah blah, and we'll sit there and say, oh, the kids, the kids, the kids. But it's like, you know, our brain sometimes does not let us realize that kids see things that we think they don't see. They hear things that we try not to let them hear. And it's like, you know, why stay for it? There's no, don't stay for the kids, because you know you're thinking, oh, it's taboo and it's gonna be this and it's gonna be that. But it's like, if your kids can see it, a lot of other people can see it. And you know, you can't wear that as a strike against you, or whatever the case may be, because again, your peace of mind is everything. So yeah, I know a lot of people who did it. Hell, I tried to do it. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? It's too much stress on the kids, first of all, especially if they're young. Um, so yeah, nah, it's not taboo. Hey, look, me and Shorty, we ain't working out. Say your goodbyes. Let's sprinkle some fairy dust on this and roll out.
But the thing about it though really is the fact that no one or nothing is going to make you stay where you don't want to stay. Whether
True.
that be kids, whether that be money, materialistic things, whatever the case may be, when you as an individual have decided this is too much, or this isn't enough, or this isn't what I'm expecting, or whatever the case may be, there's no, or there aren't any factors that can make you stay somewhere you don't want to stay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where a lot of people have it misconstrued at. You know what I'm saying? When they're like,
Mm-hmm.
well, he only staying cause the kids, or he only staying cause of this or that, or she's only staying cause of this or that. No, they only staying cause they haven't had enough yet.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to that point where you don't had enough, game over, son. You out.
Hey, spread your wings, fly away, like Troop said back in the day. Uh, Lovey says yes, and it was a reminder that her young queen in training was watching her, putting up with some shit I knew wasn't worth it, and that's another key part. You can't let your sons and daughters see that, because uh, that's the taboo part of that. Them watching that and thinking that's the norm, and then they grow up and then they're repeating that. If they don't have the mindset, or they're not, or if we don't talk to our kids about this, that, and the other when it comes to that, or if they just shut down and stuff like that, and you know, then they'll get into these situations, and then they'll be, you know, they go through so many, yeah, so many different things. Yeah, gift of goodbye, yes. Um, She said, "Let's just kiss and say goodbye." Dun, dun,
That
dun,
song just went through my head when she typed that. I was
dun.
like, okay, that's what's up.
When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you'll make some changes. You goddamn right.
Hmm.
Damn sure will make some changes. Shoot.
So, do ordinary people create prenup agreements?
Um. Now, when you say ordinary people, what do you mean?
I'm referring to the people who don't have 100,000 plus
In
in
the
the
bank?
bank.
Yeah, they do. I mean, some people value what things that they have. And every state doesn't have, you came in, you leave with what you came with. Especially after a certain time. So I mean, you don't have to have, 100,000. You could have 30,000 in the bank. You might want to protect that little nest egg of yours. So yeah, in that case, yeah, ordinary people do it. You just, whatever fits your situation, that's what your prenup should address. And hey, read the fine print, make sure that joker or that whatever or whoever is not slipping no quick, slick lines in there. Just be aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Tree said they should, you and me, because we each have children.
Yep. 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 Yeah. But alimony and child support, I mean, some people duck the hell out of that, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Man. So I think we got time for one more talking point.
All right.
And that's going to be marriage contract versus contract of marriage. What are your thoughts?
So, the way I'm interpreting this is marriage contract, meaning we getting married, we're going to, the whole legal
Mm-hmm.
situation, what's mine is mine, and what's yours is now mine, and what's mine is now yours.
Papers
That
filed
part.
at the courthouse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Affidavits and all that stuff.
A pint of blood, a partridge in a pear tree.
Okay. So when it comes to contracts of marriage, that means me and you, we got this agreement going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we just need one witness, and by now, we are now married, but not legally. So meaning if your ass go to acting crazy, you go your way and I go mine, and we can just rip this piece of paper up and we both good.
In a situation like that, uh, you have to be careful. Because some states have common law marriage where, you be with somebody long enough that you're considered married. So that contract of marriage might not, tearing that up might not mean nothing. Um, but then at the end of the day, your situation is your business,
Right.
and the state or or commonwealth that you live in, or however it is decided, the country of Texas or whatever. Um, I think a contract of marriage is good for people, but then you have to look at the way the laws are, and sometimes you have to have a marriage contract in order for someone to be on your medical benefits that your employer provides. And I know in the military, I can't be like, oh, we're married and this is our contract of marriage, but they're like, that ain't gonna fly. You need to go, get a state seal stamp, this, that, and the other, and provide that to the court. Now, if y'all have kids together, them birth certificates, they work for them kids, but that spouse over there that you're saying is a spouse, nah. Um, so, and when it comes to, certain jobs and stuff, that person has to be legally a spouse in order for them to travel with you place to place distance, in order for you to get certain benefits. So you have to you have to weigh your scales of justice as they fit for you.
I can see that. So let me ask you this one quick question then. Out of the two contracts, which one would you prefer?
Honestly, if I base it on how life in society is, I would say a marriage contract because um if that and if that makes it easier for that person to be entitled to whatever benefits that come with me, I want that to be a seamless transaction for them, so to speak. I don't want them to have to, let's just say, if we say we have a contract of marriage and my next of kin may be a sister or something like this, and let's just say my sister or something doesn't know this person that well or doesn't like that person or whatever the case may be. I don't want this woman that I'm considering my spouse to have to depend and trust on that family member of mine to do the right thing. So I'm going to get a marriage contract that way. Hey, there's no question that, hey, if something happens to me, you're going to be taken care of. Now, I can go out and get a life insurance policy or whatever the case may be and put that person as a beneficiary to where it's like, there's no question. I can get a will and it's no question. But, I don't know all the legalities and all these other different areas that, well, if you have affidavits or power of attorneys and stuff like that that give this person, all these authorities. But hey, when it comes to my job and I'm getting medical benefits, and let's just say it's cheaper for me to provide medical coverage because of my benefits at my job than it is for her, then that's what it's going to be.
Right.
I'm not going to add additional stress and burdens to that person when it doesn't have to be. So we're going to go ahead and get that marriage contract.
I understand. Well said.
Now, if that wasn't the issue or whatever the case may be, then it's like, hey, we'll do a contract of marriage. If you want to change your last name, hey, what it costs? Like $500. If you want to change your name, change your name. If not, you can say that your last name is my last name, and it's our business.
True that. Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in with us for this segment of the King and I Life podcast.
I
And
thought
this
we
has
had
been,
fun.
it has been, it's been very fun and very entertaining. And thank everyone for participating because you
Yeah.
guys, oh man, your responses are very informative, very educational, and funny at the same time. So thank
Yes.
you all. Appreciate it.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And again, we need a female voice to join us on some of these episodes because, hey, we can't speak from a woman's point of view fully. We can only say what we experience. So if anyone wants to join us, just hit us up, let us know, and we'll bring you on an episode, several episodes, or if you want to be a permanent fixture, whatever the case may be, that's cool too. But just let us know. Um,
Patrice said,
that's-
call her.
all right, I'll call you. I'll hit you up. I hit you up.
I'm about to say, what's your digits?
You got me too, lovey. All right. Oh yeah, I like your smart ass mouth.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely. But again, like Southern Soul Lex said, thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for y'all input, feedback,
Okay,
comments.
poetic justice. We got
All right,
three.
hey, that's what's
That's what's
up. That's
up.
what's up. I'll be reaching out to all of y'all. Because I know, I know y'all have some input, and I'll just leave it at that. I don't think the world is ready for some of y'all. Because look, I'm just telling you, the world ain't ready for some of these ladies because they talk that shit. But again, thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for joining us. We mean it from the bottom of our hearts. It's the King and I Life podcast with me, Soul Toucher the Poet, and my brother.
So Lex.
Ah, I think that's it.
Yes.
Is that it?
Oh yeah, and you guys just hit the like, share, and subscribe. Please help us get our numbers up on YouTube. Please,
Yes,
please, please,
please, please,
please.
please. Oh yeah. And if y'all wasn't on in the beginning, my aunt Cynthia, she's going to be jumping back on doing a few more episodes. If you did not check out her podcast, it's motivation, dedication. Um, no, motivation, determination. I'll link it. But she's going to be talking about her cancer, her situation with cancer. She's about to start chemo soon, and she wants to definitely share that with the world. So um, possibly next week we're going to record a little something and throw it up on her podcast, and hopefully I can get her live eventually. But look out for that. It's going to be a dope conversation. And we are grateful to her because she, if you had not checked our audio podcast, um, she did one talk about her cancer, and that episode has taken number one in our podcast episodes. And the one that we had, Can a Man Handle a Cheating Woman, was reigning number one since January, and we thought nothing would never top that off. But definitely look out for her podcast. It's going to be funny. It's going to be emotional. So be ready for that. Um, yeah, especially with this being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But again, we rambling now. It's the King and I Life podcast. Son Solex, Soul Touch of the Poet. Got anything else for the people before we jet up out of here?
Just enjoy your upcoming weekend, and thanks for participating.
Yeah. Peace. Love y'all.